Londoners.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I should start by reminding you that more people actually voted against you than for you. And also, can I just remind anybody watching this that the question was, which of your manifesto commitments have you failed to deliver over the past 12 months? And as usual, you don't listen to the question, you don't read the question, you actually answer on how wonderful you think you are. So, since you're looking through rose-tinted glasses, let me help you with this a little bit. On the manifesto on which you were elected last year, you promised to hire 1,300 additional police officers, and yet you're now cutting 1,700 police officers from our streets, royal parks, and I could go on, other areas. You promised to lower crime, and yet robbery is up 54.6%, theft is up by 43%, shoplifting is up by 166.8%, and theft from the person is up by a shocking 171.5%. Since the election, nearly 1 million offences have been committed. And then you promised to build the homes that Londoners desperately need. And yet housing delivery is at record lows, rents continue to skyrocket, and your housing targets have had to be lowered. You promised to protect green spaces, and now you want to concrete over the green belt because you have failed to deliver housing. You promised to be the most pro-business mayor ever, and yet wealth is leaving London at an unprecedented rate while you support the government's job tax. You also promised to end rough sleeping, and it's gone up by 50%. They're the facts, Mr. Mayor. Despite what you say, they are the facts. So would you like to apologise to Londoners for all of those broken promises that you made in order to get yourself elected and that you've now failed to deliver?
Well, Chair, I've been checking that was a 3-minute question. I hope I'll be given the amount of time to respond to that 3-minute question. So let me deal with each point made in turn. Firstly, the comment that more people didn't vote for me than voted for me. I'm really pleased if you can tell me one government Conservative or one mayor Conservative where the alternative was the case. You can fact check now, maybe text our researchers who will give her the information. The first issue she raised was in relation to policing. We've more than doubled the amount of funding City Hall gives to the Met Police Service, which has led to an additional 1,300 police officers since I was first elected in 2016, paid for by City Hall. Additionally, we've managed to persuade this government in just the first 10 months to give us more money in terms of cash in 10 months than the previous government gave in 14 years. They've also, because of my lobbying, increased the amount of money received as a national and international capital city by more than 30%, an additional £60 million. The promise of 1,300 additional police or PCSOs is over a 4-year term, and I intend to keep that promise, as I have other promises when it comes to policing. And in terms of the victims of crime, well, one victim is one victim too many. Notwithstanding austerity over the last 14 years, we have in London the country's first violence reduction unit, and working with young people, we've managed to work with the police and others and reduce homicides in our city, teenage and those below the age of 25, reduce knife crime for those below the age of 25 where they are victims, reduce burglary and reduce lethal barrel discharge. But there are areas of crime which are too high, which is why the additional money from the government will be used to target those high-volume crime areas, because the victims of crime suffer in misery when they're victims of crime. We've got to make sure there are fewer victims of crime. She then went on to talk about housing, and I'm really pleased that over the last 9 years we've broken records in terms of the most council homes any time since the 1970s being built, the most homes completed any time since the 1930s, but it's still not enough. And that's why a couple of weeks ago I announced our plans to actively explore parts of the Green Belt to be built on. And this week I announced a plan of action to address the issue of rough sleeping, where we're going to deal with prevention as well as the consequences of this. The third area she touched upon was sky-high rents. Well, it's good to see...
Chairman.
It's good to see...
Chairman, if we look at the timing, the Mayor has taken up far more time than I did, and he's still not addressed the question. So I would like to leave it at that point, because if not, he'll just talk it out.
No, the Mayor should answer the question. If he can be more concise, we'd be grateful.
And I asked
in terms
Chair
of that.
where things were going wrong, and clearly he's not answering, as usual.
We don't know because he hasn't finished.
Well, he could go on
You can
for
live in
hours and he
hope.
still
You
won't.
can live in
Let me
hope.
assure you, Chair.
That's fine, but you've got to give him a chance to finish. Mayor, continue, but can you be more concise?
Well, all I was going to say, Chair, in conclusion, was that the member complains about sky-high rents. I think she forgets who was the Prime Minister when we had a mini-budget, which led to interest rates going north of 11%. And I think she may now be advocating rent controls.
Okay,
I've finished, Chair. Thank you.
fine. Okay, so Assembly